Hello, I'm Micah Weingarten. If you're new here, I am a burnout recovery coach helping overworked high achievers back from the brink of overwhelm through the magic of nervous system regulation, boundaries, and reintroducing playfulness into our everyday lives because I believe that you should live the magical life of your dreams. So today I was inspired to talk about fear of failure and fear of trying new things. I was chatting with a friend today. This is what inspired this topic. I was chatting with a friend about gardening. So if you don't know, I am an avid gardener. I wouldn't say that I'm a great gardener. I garden through a wish and a prayer and extreme chaos. But I love it. There's something so wonderful about nurturing and loving on plants in the garden that I come back to it time and time again. And a friend was saying how they kill succulents. And if this sounds like you, succulents are a lot more finicky than people give them credit for. So give yourself a little bit of credit and celebrate the fact that you tried. And we're going to talk more about that in a bit. But I was encouraging her to not feel bad about failing at something and to instead celebrate the fact that she tried. And growing up, I personally faced a lot of external pressure to be successful. And in fact, love was really provided when achievements were made. So if I didn't come to the table with something perfect, or if I came home with anything less than an A, then I would either receive some kind of actual punishment, like having things taken away, like my ability to go play with my friends, or having access to video games or phone time, things like that, or perceived consequences as like feeling disappointment from a parent, maybe through silent treatment or some kind of negative commentary that indicates their displeasure. So what this fostered in me was a fear of asking questions, for fear of the consequence of not knowing the right answer. That was something I had a lot of pressure about that. And also, I was afraid to try new things that I wasn't already naturally gifted at or confident in or good at because of that fear of failure, of disappointing my parents or my teachers. And how this carried into my career in information technology as a software engineer is that I was terrified of making a mistake on the job. Any mistake that I would make, I thought that was going to be the end of my career, that I was going to be terminated immediately. And I was often afraid to ask for help or to try new things that challenged me because I needed to keep my job, or I was afraid of looking stupid or vulnerable. Now, as a woman in the industry, that carried a little extra weight due to some serious sexism that I was facing at the time, especially early in my career. So this created a lot of unhealthy. I lacked boundaries, really, because I wanted to constantly impress. And if I couldn't do it through the work, then I would do it through long hours or saying yes to things that I shouldn't have, and so on and so forth. And so I ended up feeling very unhappy. In fact, it wasn't a career that I originally desired for myself, but I was too afraid to go out on a limb and do what I actually loved doing. In fact, I forgot even what I enjoyed for a long time because I felt and had learned that my worth was strictly through the achievements that I made. So what does this have to do with failing and celebrating? So because I was afraid of failing, I was not trying new things very often. I wasn't trying new hobbies or the things that I used to love. I wasn't really invested in exploring those, because what if I was bad at it? Would it be worth doing if I was bad at it? So for me, eventually, I think I picked up crochet. I think my grandmother tried to teach me crochet when I was 11 and I wasn't quite getting it. And I quickly gave it up because it was too much of a challenge and I didn't want to be a failure. And so I think in my mid-20s, I picked up crochet and I just got obsessive over it. I spent every moment that I wasn't doing something else with my hands, with a hook and yarn in my hands, just undoing and redoing and undoing and redoing different patterns until I became like almost an expert at it after a few months. And I just learned to suck at it. I can remember my first scarf was just such a lumpy thing. And I was like, okay, I've learned something new. I'm going to take it apart. I'm going to start all over again. And I just kept doing that and I kept doing that and kept doing that until it's practice, right? That's how we get good at things, is through practice. But I was so afraid to even take that first step that I was missing out on so much in my life. So the way I sort of worked through getting over that is, and I would love to invite you to do this little practice with me, if it is safe and convenient for you to do so, is we're just going to sit comfortably, closing down the eyes, taking a soft gaze, or maybe finding a spot in the room that you can focus on. Taking a deep breath in through the nose and out through the mouth. Just sort of like resting right where you are. Let's do that one more time. In through the nose and out through the mouth. Beautiful. Good job. So I want you to think about a time when you did something uncomfortable. Think about a time in your past when you did something really uncomfortable, but it was something you needed to do. Just hold that vision, seeing yourself trying to do that uncomfortable thing. If you see yourself messing up, I'm curious what your response to that is. Is it to denigrate yourself and say you're stupid, or that's embarrassing, or this feels uncomfortable? Just have some curiosity about how you're feeling about that situation. And if you're having negative thoughts, is it possible to look at your past self through the lens of celebration? Celebrating and having gratitude for that past self that did something really hard that day. And maybe it wasn't perfect, but you tried. Can you really feel what it would be to receive celebration instead of criticism, instead of judgment? Can you love on that past version of yourself? And it's okay if you can't love on yourself. Maybe this is something we need to try again later. Now, I want you to think of something uncomfortable or challenging that you need to do in the future. Can you hold the vision of yourself doing that hard thing in the future? Are you nailing it? Do you see yourself just completely blowing it out of the park? Do you maybe see yourself making a little misstep or a mistake? Can you have love for that future version of yourself who's trying something so hard, so uncomfortable? Can you celebrate and love that future version of yourself? Beautiful job. So taking a deep breath, coming back into your body, coming back into the now, and just letting it all go. Beautiful job today. So it's important to not feel bad about failing at something. It's more important to celebrate the fact that you tried. And when you can embody that, when you can truly hold that in your system and believe that, it'll make doing the trying so much easier, so much more fun. It's so important to approach these hard things with curiosity. It's important to approach these mistakes with a little bit of curiosity and patience, self-patience. I hope this little chat helps, and I hope that practice is something that you found beneficial. And I encourage you and invite you to continue to play with that. Next time you come up against something hard, just play with that vision. What does the future you look like as you're trying something new? And can you have some love and gratitude and celebrate that future self for doing something hard? Let me know below if you try this exercise. I would love to hear how it works for you. And I can't wait to chat with you more in the next video. Ta-ta for now.